Hi, guys. Look who's in position already, staring directly at you. She knows. She's waiting. There's a box sitting next to me. She thinks it's for her. It's not. How are you? Did you have a good week so far? It's Wednesday, a little after 10 in the morning. I had some things I had to get done. And then I thought, you know what? I'll turn the lights on, I'll open the doors, I'll let you all come on in and set a spell with me. I have a box here from one of our family members, Miss Darla, who has done 3 shows now on Whatnot. This order is from her very, very first show ever. So she's going to get her first rating. And I know she's hoping I'll do that right up front in this video. Ha ha. Sorry, girl. You gotta wait. It's not cruel. Don't say that. Come in, sit down. Let's go over a few things first. Again, I do want to apologize because for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm still waiting on Temu. You know what? Should not surprise you. But I do have an order coming, and when it gets here, you'll get to see it, right? Okay. The second thing I want to apologize for, other than not having Temu, is that in my last video, I let you know that I made my chicken pot pie without recording it. So I felt bad. I said, okay, I got to make something to make up for everybody. Now, this is a recipe I have never shared with a single soul, not my closest friends, not other family members, not neighbors. I've made them and I've gifted them to people, but I have never, ever shared this recipe. All the other recipes that I've given you so far are recipes that I've provided for so far. This is the first time. And I said, you know what? This is a big one. This is one of my most popular when I make cookie baskets. They'll give you a hint for the holidays or for birthdays or events. And I put these cookies in them. This is my most requested cookie. So for you guys, first time ever for me, never too old for first. Here's the recipe to my softest, fluffiest chocolate chip cookies. Now, guys, couple of hints on this. It is important that you chill the dough at least 4 hours. I recommend that you make this in the evening, set it in the fridge, cover it, set it in the fridge, and just let it sit overnight, and then the next day make your cookies. The other thing that's important is that when you pull it out of the refrigerator to start making your dough balls, you do not let it come up to room temperature. You work with it cold. All right. Now, the batter will be very, very, very crumbly and seem very dry when you first take it out and you try to spoon it out. But when you put it in your hands, and you're not going to roll it like you would a meatball or a peanut butter cookie, you're going to squeeze it. If you noticed, I wasn't rolling, I was squeezing it into a round shape. Your hands, the heat from your hands, even if you are a person who wears gloves when you cook or you bake, that heat starts to soften the butter a little bit so that you can form a nice smooth ball. So it takes a little longer, but it's important that they be as cool as possible before you put them in the oven. You also noticed that I use the back of a cup to press them flat and not my hands, because I don't want to add any extra warmth from my hands any more than I have to. And even that extra little touch of pressing them with the heat from your hands can start to soften the butter too much. We don't want that to happen. Now, these will, and as you saw, did double in size. I could have made them a little bit smaller and gotten actually 3 dozen cookies out of them because they do spread. But I made them about inch size balls because I know they were going to spread out to be a 2.5, almost a 3-inch cookie, but still be puffy. The secret to them still being so soft, right around the edge, they'll have just a touch of crunch, but on the middle and the inside, they will be very, very soft. The key is not letting the butter melt prior to them going into the oven, and the increased amount of baking powder. Think of the baking powder as an explosive. It basically puffs up, it blows up the cookies, but you don't taste it. I personally would have liked a little bit more chocolate chips in each of them, but I've easily got a half a dozen chips in each cookie. Some cookies a little more, some a little less. but when you break them apart, especially when they were hot, you can see you can see the softness because they don't crumble. That it's just like opening a little cake. But these are good. Try them. Don't mess with the recipes. Any of the recipes I give you guys, I'm asking you, please honor my sharing these recipes with you. Make them exactly as I give them to you, right? If you, after you taste it, after you try it, if you decide that, oh, you might want to do this or do that, then go ahead and do it. But you're never going to know how good these things are if you don't make them according to my recipe first. All right. So enjoy. I, of course, did have to sample one last night when it was still hot, and I have 24 of them. They're good. They're yummy. They're tainted, as in taint enough. And I have to keep them out of sight or I will sit there and eat them. Okay, let's get on to Darla's review. Now, there's many of you out there that have recently joined our family. Welcome. We're glad to have you. Bring your friends. Tell everybody about it. I do a lot of reviews for Whatnot shops. Those of you that follow me know this. I also review Temu, Amazon, dollar shopping. Any place I can find a bargain and the best deals is what I'm going to bring to you. And in addition, I bring you things like tiny home living, life with Nala, how to do it yourself things. Try to say, you know what? No matter how old we get, we're still capable of doing things and we're still capable of learning. Now, Darla has been a long-term viewer of this channel. She's been a long-term subscriber here at Konnee's Little Corner. And she is one of the people that I introduced to Whatnot. I kind of brought her along and said, hey, you know what? You got to check this out. Well, she did. She came with me. She basically followed me to SuperBuys where we started. And then I introduced her to Jessie at UltraAuthentic. She got a certain comfort level there with Jessie, and she started acting as a moderator for Jessie. And then she started moderating for other shops that she got introduced to between me and Jessie. We were introducing her to NVUSDeals and Vintage Mom and a few other places. So she's become a regular moderator. Well, as of the first Friday in January this year, she decided she was going to start her own Whatnot little shop. She does jewelry, vintage pieces, newer pieces, handbags, wallets, a variety of small items. Let's call it small pieces. She can't lift heavy things or handle heavy things. She chooses not to. She likes working with the little itty bitties, which is great. So her first show, I got 2 items, but she sent me a box full, which she was going to send me for Christmas. She already had it, so it had nothing to do with her show. So we're going to start with just the things from her show, and then we'll take a look at what she sent me belated for Christmas, okay? So her show was actually on Friday, January 3rd, and she always does a Friday show at 9 p.m. And her shop is called Darla Weatherspoon 1. That's her current name of her shop. No, she'll change it. That's up to her. But that's where you're going to find her on Whatnot. All right. So January 3rd was the first show. I received this on the 13th, which is fine. Weekend. She did a Friday night show, so we had a weekend in there and a week. Darla's located in Kentucky, just for those of you that are not familiar. So I'm going to show you what I got from her. I will let you know the retail prices as well. The first thing I got are these 2 butterfly hair clips. I actually bought the red one. She included the pink one with a little note that said for Nala. But look at these clips. The wings move. Very blingy. Very, very blingy. So the pink one is for Miss Nala and the red one is for me. I'll put the pink one on Miss Nala's collar. So she has her little butterfly. That'll be cute when we're out walking. These are crystal. They're of the gold tone, and they're a spring clip hair. Spring clip. Nice sharp teeth. There you go. So you can actually see the teeth. Smooth on the bottom one, teeth on the top, so it'll grab your teeth. You can put this in your hair. You can put this on a hat. All right, I could clip, if I wanted to, I could clip this to the brow of my hat. You can put it any place you want to put it, any place you want a butterfly. Clothes, jacket, sweaters, collars. Very, very nicely made. These typically sell for $12 each. If you were to go out and look for these, you'd be paying $12 a piece. I picked up the red one for $3. Pretty good. And she sent me the second one. Thank you, Miss Darla. Miss Nala deserves the bling. The second item I got was, for those of you that know me, you know I'm a Pisces. My birthday's in March. We won't talk about that right now because I got a big one coming up this year. Decade. Can you believe it? So I got the fish. Yes, I know they call this the Jesus fish, but I'm a Pisces. A fish is a fish. And I like the bling. Now, this is a regular pin. It's not a clip. So this is something I can pin on one of my hats. I can pin on my clothes. I can pin on my pocketbook, on a sweater. Nice bling. You can see where it says lead free and nickel free. So that means if it is against my skin, it's not going to bother me because I do have sensitivities to certain metals. I picked this up at a winning bid of $3, and she does have more of these guys. So these are not the only ones she has. This also has a retail value of $12 where if you were to go out to get it. So I got it for $3. So those are the two items that I purchased. I purchased things with bling for two reasons. Number one, you all know I love bling, right? And number two, if there's ever going to be an issue with a purchase, it's going to be with an item that has some sort of beading or gemstones or bling of some sort, because either the stones will be loose, the stones will be missing. So it's important that when you get something, you immediately check it. All I do is this. I just gently wipe my hand across the front to make sure there's no loose stones, and I check it to make sure there are no missing stones. It's very difficult for anyone to sell things, especially butterflies, that have so much bling on them. But as you can see, no matter how much they move, that bling is on there. That tells me she's selling a quality product, right? It also tells me that she inspects her products before she sells them, because every single thing that she showed during her show that had bling on it was not missing any kind of stones. None of her earrings, her brooches, her pens, nothing was missing stones. She had one pocketbook that had one gemstone missing, and she called it out. She let everybody know right off the bat that there was one little stone missing from the front. That tells me she inspects her products before she puts them up for sale. She knows exactly what she's selling you, and she's not going to sell it if it's not good. Now, she included for me a little gift, a little thank you. And she says, hope you can use these earrings to make something else. Hint, hint, make me a small set of fish hooks. Well, guys, number one, I don't make fish hook earrings. I make French hook earrings. Fish hooks have your wire in the back, but in the front, they come down and then curl upwards. That's a fish hook. French hooks are where your beads, your earrings are actually locked on in the front, and you'll see like a little bead and a little spring. So I don't do fish hooks. I do French hooks because they're more secure, but I will be happy to make her a pair. And these are the earrings that she sent me. These are massive, but I absolutely love the color. Look how big these are, guys. I like big earrings, but these are even too big for me. And Darla knows that I will get things to make them. So for Miss Darla, I will take a couple of the smaller pieces and I will turn them into maybe a nice dangle, maybe about 2 of them long with the gold in the middle. I might add a little pearl to them to give them a little touch, but I will definitely make something out of these for Miss Darla. But this gives you an idea of the things that you can get. If you're someone out there, if you know someone out there that likes these big earrings, when you go into Darla's show or any show, ask, say, hey, I'm looking for huge, oversized earrings. What you got? I had no idea she had these until I saw them, until she sent them to me. If I would have seen them, I would have been after them in a heartbeat. Seriously, right? All right, so that gives you an idea. So those are what came from her show. Now, let's rate her show, shall we? And I know this is what you've been waiting for, Miss Darla, so don't bite your fingernails because your nails look really good right now. But everybody, I want you to keep in mind that even though Darla and I have a online relationship, so to speak, we have a friendship, we have a camaraderie, I can be nothing but brutally honest when it comes to doing evaluations or ratings of all the whatnot shops. So you may or may not agree with the rating I'm about to do for Miss Darla. And I would love your comments on the bottom, but please, when you leave a comment, please be respectful. All right. And know that the opinion that I am giving is my opinion. And you see that little thing right there wiggling? Don't freak, guys, because that's the fob. Remember? See? There it is. That's the fob from my ceiling fan. And because I have heat in my house again, my ceiling fan is going on high. All right, let's get down to this rating. Now, this was her very first show ever, and she was alone. There was no one in her home, no one sitting next to her, no one talking her through this. She had myself as a moderator, and she had Jessie from UltraAuthentic as a moderator, where we could give her input as she was going along, and guide her as to what she needed to do or the next steps or what she needed to watch. That's to be expected. Most people that do their first show don't even have that support. They don't even have a moderator. So what I'm going to look at, I'm going to break it down for you. We're going to look at the price of the items and the price of the shipping. We're going to look at the variety of products she has, and we're going to look at her basic communication. Okay? Now, I will tell you right off the bat, I am not going to rate her on presentation. Keep in mind, she's very new at it. Darla is not going to know that she should take pieces like this out of their plastic bags so that they can be seen more clearly, that you hold them up to the camera as close as possible so that everybody gets a really good view of them. That's something that has to be learned as you go. I had to learn it even for things that I show you here. All right. So presentation, she's not going to be rated on. That's not factor. All right. The next thing I'm not going to rate her on is her attitude. Was she always happy? Was she always smiling? Was she always pleasant? Was she, I don't even know how to explain it, but there's so many nerves involved in doing the first show and so much multitasking to do. Keeping focus and trying to remember everything is outrageous. It takes time. So that can affect what might come across as an attitude, whether she was maybe not showing enough confidence or maybe too much confidence, or maybe was she cocky or was she insecure? I don't care. Right? Keeping in mind this is her very first show, She had obviously had nerves and jitters. So I'm not going to count if she had an attitude or it looked like she was either had one or didn't have one or what it was, if anything. Okay. So we're not counting that. We're also not going to count how long it takes her to ship. Yes, it took 10 days for this to get here. She is going to have to find her rhythm as far as when she finishes up her shows, when does she pack, how does she pull her orders, how does she pack them, label them, etc. That takes practice. With your very first show, I was expecting 10 days to 2 weeks before I received it. I received it in 10 days. As she gets better, I would expect to see her packages, especially because she's only in Kentucky. She's not that far from me. I would expect her packages to arrive within 3 to 5 business days. So I'm not going to rate her on the shipping speed. Okay. And hopefully any of you that shop from her are also going to cut her a little slack when it comes to that. It's all new. I couldn't do it. I don't want to do it. So let's get down to what I am going to rate her for. Are you ready, Darla? Hold on. I need a drink. This is stressful for me. Okay. Coffee. Done. Ready. The first thing we're going to rate Darla on is the price of the item and the price of the shipping. One of these items, just one butterfly, had a retail value of $12. She started the bid at $3. She had plenty of them to go around. Nobody was overbidding on it. Everybody got several of them. We all each paid only $3. Same thing with the fish. Starting bid was $3 and value was $12. Her prices are substantially lower than retail. So you're getting these for roughly 25%, 75% off, which is excellent when you're in an auction setting. Auctions should not be at or near retail. They should be at least 30 to 60% below retail, depending on the item. These were 75% below retail, so I found the pricing and all the other pricing of her items that she showed to be spot on. Wouldn't change anything along those lines. The cost of her shipping, she prorated her shipping, basically mean they refer to it as reduced shipping. It's not reduced. It's technically prorated, where you only pay maybe $4 and change, about half the shipping costs with your first item, and with your second item, you pay the balance, which gets you to $9.21. From that point on, the rest of your items have no shipping, technically, because it would take an awful lot of items to hit 5 pounds. $9.21 covers 5 pounds. And with small pieces like this, even if you were to buy purses or pocketbooks that maybe weigh a pound each, it's difficult to reach it. So the price of her shipping, I think she handles it very well. She does have the option as she gets more experienced where, for example, these pieces, I did weigh one of these butterflies. It weighs less than 1 ounce, that she could reduce the shipping even further and this category be billed for shipping at the rate of 1 ounce. She could have hundreds of items billed at 1 ounce. It would just take longer to reach the $9.21. The same idea would come into play. Right now, how she's doing it is perfectly fine. It's a great way to do it. She is still working on organizing things into groups. In other words, the pocketbook might have a certain weight, therefore the shipping would be different. These brooches have a smaller weight. Earrings might have a different weight. Necklaces might have a different weight. That takes time to organize. A lot of shops don't divide it up in that way, but a lot of shops do. So that's going to be Darla's preference. But right now, her prices of her shipping, I think it's fine. I don't have an issue with it. Variety, she has a lot of vintage items. So she has a lot of variety as far as brooches, hairpins, earrings, regular decorative pins, wallets. She has quite a few wallets. She has some variety of necklaces. She has a lot of different keychains. Considering she's dealing in what we refer to as smalls, she has a very good variety. She has a decent variety of handbags, purses, pocketbooks, whatever you want to call them. She has everything from smaller, almost a clutch type style, up to a shoulder bag. I haven't seen any totes yet, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have them. So she does have a good variety, considering she's brand new. She doesn't have a huge inventory. Her bin, her buy it now, does usually, and I've watched for all 3 shows now, have at least 100 items in it of a variety, even things like little cosmetic bags that she has in there. So she has a good selection of smalls. So variety I'm okay with. Communication is the third thing that I'm going to rate her on. Communication is, in this case, for a newbie, how does she speak to the camera? How does she speak to the chat? Does she interact with people in the chat? Does she say hello and greet people as they are coming in? Does she talk to her moderators? Does she watch the chat for any notes or things from her moderators? Her communication is something that I was very surprised at for her first show. And let me tell you a little bit why. Right off the bat, she had not been warned about trolls. Before her show even started, she had some computer glitches where it was flashing and glitching and nobody could really see her. It took her, Jessie worked with her, it took her about 10 minutes or so, but we actually had to close out the initial show, jump into the next show, make it live, and then everything worked perfectly. She and Jessie were working on that. She had asked me to communicate with the chat. So she was communicating with the people that were helping her, with Jessie and I, right? So that we could communicate with those in the chat and those that were there to follow her and to shop. So that was the first kudos on her communication. She didn't panic. I probably would have, okay? But she didn't. She stayed calm. She let me handle the chat. She worked with Jessie. Everything got up and running. About 45 minutes into the show, not one, but 2 trolls came in. And unfortunately, as I said, she had not been warned that trolls would hit her up. One came in and was really nasty and said, "Hey, Granny, where's the gold? Show us the real gold," being very disrespectful. I think Jessie and I hit the boot at the same time and kicked this person to the curb. And then I put a message up to please make sure all your comments are respectful and follow whatnot guidelines. Then the second troll showed up. And the second troll took an item that somebody was bidding on and kicked it up to like $2,000. And it did take Darla by surprise. She's like, "What the heck?" And of course, Jessie and I were all over it because we knew about the trolls. I'm telling chat, nobody bid, everybody stop what you're doing. That bid didn't count. It was going to be canceled out. Where she tried to run the same item again. Enough time, though, had not passed so that when she ran it again, that troll was still there and it ran it up a second time. Jessie finally was able to kick the troll out of the show. Everything reset. Darla reran the item and it got sold, I think, for $3 or $4, the way it should have been sold. How did she handle that? She communicated beautifully with the chat. "Bear with us. We got to work through this. Thank you for your patience." She was very apologetic, very understanding. The chat was extremely understanding and supportive of what she was doing. She didn't just sit there and say, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." She's like, "Okay, give us a second. Let us work through this." She was calm. She was composed. She kept herself collected. I'm impressed. I was impressed by that. So as it went on, she started paying, she got relaxed. I think she started to realize that everybody had her back. All right. That the chat wasn't going anywhere. She had 30, 40 people in there and nobody was leaving. Nobody was going anywhere. Everybody was patient, understanding. Everybody was communicating with her that you're doing great. You're doing fine. We understand. That support, I believe, put some wind back in her sails. And then Darla got back into her rhythm. It was nothing that disrupted the show. She did not let it disrupt the show. She didn't let it interfere with what she had to do. She just pushed right on through. So again, kudos for that. As the show went on, her communication continued to improve. As Jessie and I would get her attention, give her little reminders of doing this or doing that, helping her to navigate through everything. Everything went very smoothly. She did her giveaways for both buyer and followers. She started talking and joking around more, and the nerves you could see were leaving. She was on for 2 hours. And over those 2 hours, considering the issues that came up and her nerves, her newness, by the end of the show, no doubt she signed off and went and got herself an alcoholic beverage. She probably doesn't drink. I don't know if you drink or not, Darla, but I tell you, I had one for you. I'm like, oh my gosh, you handled that like a pro. So, all that being said, how are we going to rate Darla? There were a lot of faux pas in there. That was not perfection. Do any of you expect perfection on a very first show? Because to me, that's an unreasonable expectation, especially when you're sitting home by yourself and you don't have an experienced person sitting right there with you to help direct you or talk in your ear on the side or help guide you or help you figure things out. You're basically on your own. I don't expect perfection. I expect effort. I expect honesty. And I expect someone to do their best to show that they're actually invested in what they're doing, that they're really trying to do the best they can with the limited knowledge that they have for their first show. It's like baby steps. You can't scold a baby because they stood up, took one step, and fell down, right? You can't scold a seller because they did one show, stumbled, but never fell. And that's the thing. So let's get to this review. By now, hopefully, you've all formulated how many stars you think I'm going to give Darla. And remember, this is a 3-star rating. So the prices of the item is a half a star, and the price of the shipping is a half a star. Items are priced beautifully. The price of the shipping could be modified to make it a little bit more affordable, considering these are smalls. However, it is still a very fair and reasonable way to charge for pricing by splitting it up. So she's getting a full star for the price of the item and the price of the shipping. That's number one. Variety. She's got it. For the small she's carrying, could she have a bigger variety? Yep. She could carry more modern earrings, more bracelets, more modern pieces of jewelry, maybe more bling pieces, maybe some French hooks or fish hooks as opposed to carrying as many studs and or posts as she does. But for her first show, she had a great variety. She was prepared with a variety and enough items to go 2 hours. So she gets a full star for variety. The third one is communication. And this is the one where some people, even if they're not at a new show, they still struggle enormously. For her very first show, her communication, was it perfect? Nope, not even close. but it was damn good. Excuse my language. That's not French. So I'm not going to say it's French, and I'm not going to say it in French. Her communication came easier than I'm sure she expected it to. And it came easier than I expected it to. The way that she handled herself, the way she communicated with the chat, the way she communicated with Jesse and I, she's still learning. When Jesse and I, as moderators, send her private messages, in other words, hidden messages that the chat can't see, she will learn she shouldn't be reading those out loud to the chat, that those are us trying to help her and guide her, and that she doesn't need to announce those messages. There are other things that she will learn as she goes. Reading the chat can be difficult, especially if it's a high volume and the chat is coming through quickly. She will eventually learn that she can slow down the chat in her settings so that it doesn't come up so rapid on her. All things considered, her interactions, the way she spoke with everybody, the details that she gave, excellent as far as how she talked to everybody. Her tone of voice when she talked to everybody. She has a very soothing demeanor about her when she speaks. She's funny. She communicates through music. She loves 80s rock, and she's always jamming to the music, and you'll see her bopping. That communicates through body language what her style is. And everybody seems to love it. Everybody seems to be on board with it. So for communication, I'm going to give her another star. I'm going to give her a full star. So Darla and family, Darla Witherspoon won for her very first show on Whatnot, is getting a full 3-star review. I think she deserves it. What do you think? Leave me your comments. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You don't have to. But I think I've given you enough detail, enough information as to how I came across, how I determined what that review was going to be and what she was going to get. Right? So there's your review you've been waiting for, girlfriend. Now, let me show you, and this is considered fan mail because this is actually her Christmas gift to me, but she held it. She wanted to wait until she had her show, and she held it to send it to me when she had her show. So, nice little thank you card. Thank you for your business. And on the back, it says, "Thank you so much for all you do and your support of my first show. I really appreciate everything, even you on YouTube as well." Hope you still appreciate me after that rating. Because I was on the fence a little. Well, let me show you what she sent me, guys. Hand sanitizer, ladybug. This you can connect. All right, you wrap it around something, you feed it through the hole. Hand sanitizer. Does it have a scent? It doesn't say. Lemon. Lemon scented. I think it's the cutest thing with the little ladybug. Absolutely love that. All right. This made me laugh. Remember what I showed you in the last video? When I saw these, I'm like, OMG. 3 bottles of nail polish. It's a very, very soft, like a sagey, a cross between a sage and a teal, super light lavender, and a lemon yellow. And I love color. But it made me chuckle, considering I had just found like 80 bottles of nail polish that were out in my shed. And the last things that she sent me seriously made me smile. She knows I'm a fan of Betty Boop. She sent me Betty Boop change purse. Very, very soft, fleecy feeling with a little clip, all right, on the zipper. Just a nice little catch-all change purse. But she didn't just send me one. She sent me two in pink. And look at the outfits. These are the same. One in blue. Look at the outfit that Betty's wearing. Same outfit on the yellow one. Gotta love it. And on the red, the exact same as my Betty Boop pin that I got from Shop Madam President and my Betty Boop earrings that I've had for years. 5 coin purses. Darla, you know, number one, the red and the yellow one ain't going anywhere. That's staying with me. But these 3, I am going to pay it forward. And Darla knows that that's what I do. So I don't think she's going to be a bit surprised when I say that I'm going to pay it forward. We'll see. Who's going to get them? What box am I going to put them in? Okay. That's Darla's rating, and that's the fan mail. And you've gotten the cookie recipe. I want to go over 2 more things before we sign off because we're almost at 45 minutes. The Crazy Cat contest is still running. I've gotten a handful already of entries from you guys. I think 4 or 5 already in just a couple of days. Keep them coming. You guys have some of the cutest cats that I've seen. And I think it's going to be really hard when it comes down to the voting. But basic rules, I'm going to go over them again. You must be my subscriber and either the direct owner of the cat or the cat must be owned by an immediate family member, niece, nephew, grandchildren, son, okay? Blood family member must own the cat that you're submitting. Obviously, it must be a cat that is still alive. We all do love our cats, those that are with us and those that have passed. The whole idea behind this is that our current felines can enjoy a little special treat, right? So no AI and no past cats, all right? If you can send as many pictures as you like, I will squeeze them down into 15 seconds. If you want to send me a video of your cat doing something ludicrous, that's fine. Up to 15 seconds on the video. Don't worry if it's a little longer because I can edit it down. 1 entry per cat. So if you have 5 cats in your household, you can do 1 entry. You can send me 10 pictures of 1 cat and that'll be 1 entry. All right. So each cat will get their own entry and I will combine each cat's multiple photos of that cat into 1 entry. That's it. No big deal, right? So let's keep it going. You have until January 24th. You have 10 more days to keep submitting those pictures. Send them right here, konneeslittlecorner@gmail.com. On the 25th, I will put up the culmination of all photographs for voting. Each cat will be identified by a number and name, and that's how you will vote. It'll be number 1, Jinx, number 2, Larry, number 3, George, so on and so forth. All right. And then you will be able to vote from January 25th to January 31st. And on February 1st, the winner will be announced. Now, in the next video, yes, I can do it in the next video. In the next video, I will show you what's in the kitty cat box. I just got an order from RylahsAnimalHouse. Hi, cat. This is all items for the cat box giveaway. So when I show you what's going in the giveaway, I'll show you the items that I got from Rylah's to go in there. So it's going to be a good box, I promise. And everyone is eligible, regardless of where you live. And remember, if you are international, I will find a pet shop in your community, close enough to you, that they can ship to you from within your country so that you don't have to pay import fees and you don't have to worry about how much I have to might pay to send it to your country, to export it to you. You will get a comparable box from a reputable business where you live. All right? Okay. The last thing I want to cover, and this is a very bittersweet thing for me. You know how attached I am to all of you as my family. And there are many of you that have been with me since day one for almost the full 2 years that this channel has existed. On Monday, I received notification that one of our family members had passed. Her first name was Sue. Sue had been with me as a follower. She was one of my first 100 subscribers. She commented on almost every video. If she was not going to be available to watch a video, or if she was catching up, she would let me know why she wasn't commenting or why she wasn't watching, what was going on in her life, what was she doing. Sue had had an incredible life of her own. And when I saw the listing, I read it. I was just impressed on what an amazing woman that she was. Her daughter, Kathy, is the one who notified me. I received an email from Kathy, not knowing if I was the right person, and asking me a question, that would help identify if she had the correct person or not from YouTube. And I gave her the answers, and lo and behold, it turned out to be my friend Sue, her mom that had passed. Sue passed recently on January 10th. And it was within 2 days that Kathy reached out to me to let me know of her mom's passing and how much her mom had enjoyed watching my channel. I cried, guys. I got to tell you, it still makes me weepy. You are truly family, not just, not just Sue. Sue was a big supporter, emotional support, encouraging through all the ups and downs. She was with me as a viewer and as a friend when Sadie was diagnosed with cancer, and when I lost Sadie lost her battle. And when Levi and I sold the house in Arizona and took our cross-country trip to come over here in Alabama and get established in Alabama, and then Levi's battle with his health and his passing and Nala's adoption. And Sue has had been there through it all, as many of you had. And it breaks my heart to think that there may be others in this family that have passed, and I don't know of it. I'm not aware of it. I am aware when all of a sudden I don't see comments coming in on a regular basis from someone who always commented on a regular basis. And it concerns me. And if I have the email address for that person, I send an email. I've done that a few times now and I haven't gotten responses. So I'm still trying to figure out how to reach out to these missing family members. It's not about them being subscribers. It's not about my subscriber count or anything else. It's about a family member who means something to me. And if you guys don't know that by now, then you're at the wrong channel. Because this channel is all about us, and now including her. So my prayers, my thoughts go out to Sue's family, her daughter Kathy, everyone who knew her and loved her. I know that she's probably still watching from wherever she is. And that's okay. Oh, I just got the goosebumps. Yeah, okay. Back off, Sue. But I hope all of you will keep watching for as long as you can, for as long as you choose to. And please just know that you really, truly are in my heart, and you're all part of our little family. Okay? Okay. Thumbs up? Hype? Yeah, hype. I know you can only hype once. And if you're not yet subscribed to Konnee's Little Corner and Life with Nala, please consider doing so. And please consider coming back for the next one. We've got Temu coming. We've got more recipes coming. We've got the goodie box for the kitty cats that you're going to get to see what your kitty cat could win. There's a lot more coming down the pike. And she and I are going to bring it to you as soon as we can.